everybody. Pen here with Yoga Sizes. Welcome to the podcast and the YouTube channel. I have Susan Proper here today. She is a yoga instructor, even though the spelling of her last name is Proper, but it's pronounced Proper because it's Dutch and the O is a long O sound. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here. And thank you for getting the O in proper.
Yay! All right, she's a yoga instructor. She teaches chair yoga, yin yoga. She does her bi-weekly virtual retreats in her Facebook group, is it?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. No, she works with people doing yin yoga and focus on compassion. And she's also a life coach. She's a certified life coach. To do a little bit of an introduction of yourself, go a little bit into details and share your experience and how you got started with your yoga journey and what made you get into life coaching and which one came first? Was it the life coaching came first or the yoga?
Okay. Thank you, Pam. It was actually the yoga that came first for me. And how I got started with practicing yoga is kind of a funny little story. I came from the corporate world. I have a corporate background and had a really successful corporate career, long time corporate career, and reached a point in my life where sort of was burnt out, and my husband and I decided, let's make a change in our lives. And I was living a life and working a job where I was all consumed with my career, working about 60 hours a week, and that was my primary focus. I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought I had a good life. I had a good job, met beautiful people, traveled, and, I thought everything was fine. And eventually through signs that you kind of get, your intuition and signs from the universe, I believe in those, realized it was time for a change. And we made that change. I left my corporate career and we moved to a different state. And I no longer had a job. And I suddenly found myself without a purpose. And I felt like I had no identity anymore. And it was a very difficult time for me personally. And it slowly became a downward spiral, quite honestly. And it led me to a clinical depression. And it wasn't yoga that totally changed things around for me, but yoga played a big part in helping me find wellness and my purpose and my dharma in my life. I must admit, I did seek out professional help, but along the way, yoga, meditation, and the tribe of beautiful women that I met at the yoga studio I went to all combined to help me find my way in life again. And that was a beautiful thing. And without the yoga and meditation and my teacher training, I wouldn't be where I am today. I just know it. And eventually, I did get certified, and I did become a life coach in that order. And I realized that my dharma and my passion and my love in life is serving women and helping women who maybe have been through something similar or something where they have felt lost and lost their identity or lost their dream or lost their way. And that's the passion and purpose that I have right now.
Thank you for sharing your story. Along the journey when you were going through the depression and yoga helped with healing and kind of transform you and move on from there and got better and help others along the way, what part of that journey, what was like a breakthrough moment or something that happened during that course that made you realize, okay, you brought your awareness of that made the change?
Well, basically, I immediately knew when I was in my first yoga class that this is where I needed to be for my own emotional and spiritual well-being. But it wasn't until I was in my teacher training that I realized that I had discovered my dharma, my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And it was after, I would say probably halfway through my teacher training, when I had fallen in love with Yin Yoga and Yoga Nidra, because of course you get exposed to anatomy, you get exposed to all the different philosophies and the history of yoga, and you become aware of all the different types of yoga, and you get exposed to those and you get to practice those. And I just immediately fell in love with Yin and Yoga Nidra. Those are the two things that resonated the most with me. And so that was sort of like a huge connection for me. And then I also noticed that I was connecting very easily with other women in the teacher training, and they were connecting with me, coming to me and asking me for advice or asking my opinion on things, or just talking to me and sharing privately about different things going on in their life. And so I realized that well, maybe there's something in this that is a role for me. Maybe because when I went into teacher training, I didn't think I was going to teach. I went into teacher training because I thought I wanted to improve my own practice and I wanted to learn more about yoga, right? So, but then when I really fell in love with the Yin and the Yoga Nidra, and I actually taught those classes in the teacher training, and then noticed that this relationship was being established with these other women, I thought, maybe there is something here. And then I started to kind of like think about it and like put a little thought process and a little plan together in my head. And I thought, maybe this is my dharma. Maybe this is the path for me. Maybe this is where I need to head. And by the time I finished my teacher training, I had come to that realization.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome that you find your dharma, and you said dharma means purpose, right?
Yes, it's your purpose, your what you are meant to do. Yes.
Okay. So let's say somebody's searching for that dharma of theirs, and they're not really sure of where to start, or like how they wouldn't know if that's their dharma or not. It could be something that they thought of, or it could be a sign that it's supposed to be their dharma, but how can they be sure that that's what it's supposed to be?
Mm-hmm. Well, to be honest with you, you have to get to know your inner self very well. And that happens in a number of ways for people. And it varies from person to person. For some people, it can be like an epiphany. Oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And that sometimes happens at childhood even. You know, I'm going to be a dentist, or I'm going to be an artist, or I'm going to be a doctor. But for some people, it may not happen, like for me, until you're middle-aged, right? Until you're beyond your first career and starting a second career. And sometimes it can be something that you wanted to be as a younger person, but you, for some reason, put it away, put it aside, and opted for a different path. And now you want to go back to it. So sometimes you well, I should say always, you have to look deep inside yourself, and you have to be willing to be open to thoughts and ideas. And that can be through journaling, that can be through meditation, that can be through coaching, that can be through yoga nidra, which is a form of guided meditation, which takes you deep inside your subconscious. There are many ways to help you find your dharma, many, many ways, but it always involves going within yourself.
That's so true. I love the part that you said people might put off what they're meant to do for a little bit, depending on the life situation and what's going on within themselves, and also within the environment, or with people around them that cause them to not do what they're meant to do. But eventually, deep down inside, they somehow still going to be drawn to that, and eventually. It might not be today, it might take a few years, but eventually somehow they'll still work their way around to get there.
That's right. Yeah. And, and that's part of what I coach about, because a lot of times people will reach an age in their life, or something happens in their life. There's a change, whether it's a loss of a job, or I don't know, like me, I moved to a new place, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I don't know anybody here. I don't have a job. What happens now? Or it could be, an empty nester, all of a sudden you don't have a family to take care of anymore. Something has changed in your life, shifted your balance, and you step back and you look and you think, oh, well, I never really did this, or I never followed that dream. I had always wanted to do this, but I never did. And it doesn't necessarily have to be job related. It could be, I don't know, it could be, I always wanted to travel the world solo. I always wanted to take a class doing whatever, pottery class. Could be something simple, but it may be something that you just never did because of life getting in the way, or somebody told you, oh, that was stupid, or whatever the reason may be. And you suddenly just find yourself saying, why did I never do that? What happened? Why didn't I do that? I should have done that. And, oh, no, it's too late. I can't do that now. Yes, you can. Sure, it's never too late. You can always follow your dreams. You can always listen to your heart. You can always believe in your intuition and follow that path.
Yeah, it's like you're meant to be. There's always something that you're either drawn to it, or it's drawn to you, that is somehow connect you. The universe is connecting you with your dharma.
That's right. That's right. And when I do coaching, I use yoga, yin yoga, I use yoga nidra, I use aromatherapy, and I use meditation, all those things, as well as just typical coaching methods, suggesting different ideas to help a person believe in themselves and believe in those goals and believe in those dreams, and work their way towards them again.
Now, speaking of coaching, so how do you approach the coaching process in terms of what to coach on for them?
Well, it all starts with a clarity call, right? So basically, I would talk with somebody initially for about 30 minutes and find out what it is that's on their mind, that they feel that they want to share with me. I am not going to make a sales pitch. I am not going to try to convince them about anything. I just want to hear them talk to me about what it is that is on their mind. What is either weighing them down? What is their whatever it is that they want to share with me. Typically, in a call that I have with somebody initially, I will try to give a person 2 or 3 things that they can walk away with from that call, whether they ever become my client or not. I will try to give them 2 things that they can walk away with to help them, whether they're feeling stressed because they just lost their job, or whether they're feeling that they're having difficulty with being overworked. Whatever the issue is, it could be a lost dream or something like that. These things can be simple. It can be what oils to use. It can be a yoga pose. It can be a guided meditation that I would suggest for them. I will always suggest 2 or 3 things for them to use over a week or 2, and see if it's helping them.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's great. And speaking of coaching clients and talking about what the clarity call, with everything that's going on, first with the coronavirus, and it's still going on, but it's not talked about as much. But these couple of weeks is more about Black Lives Matter, and everybody's speaking of that. Has any of your clients mentioned that as been a stressor, or how do you view the whole thing?
Well, of course, everybody is feeling stress right now between the coronavirus and the whole Black Lives Matter and racial issue right now going on in the country. I don't think there's anybody that's not feeling stress. And I have had conversations with people who are extremely overwhelmed. And the most basic thing that anybody who is feeling the stresses that are happening right now needs to do is take care of themselves first. Okay. And the most important thing you need to do is sleep. You need to get quality sleep. And that means uninterrupted sleep. That means go to bed with, if you have it, room darkening shades. You need to get at least 7 hours worth of sleep. You need to get quality sleep. You need to get a good quantity of sleep, because that is when your body repairs itself. That is when your brain takes care of all this stress and anxiety that is happening in your subconscious mind. It is extremely important. You need to eat healthy. I'm a vegetarian. I don't preach about everybody needs to be vegetarian or vegan or anything like that, but you need to eat healthy. It's so easy right now to just call up and order pizza 7 days a week. You just need to eat healthy, choose wisely with your food selections, so that you're not sitting on the couch every day just putting on the pounds. You need to eat well. You need to exercise. And exercise, for some people, that they automatically think of the gym. Doesn't have to be the gym. A lot of gyms just reopened. Some places they may not even be open yet. So you need to think about exercise differently. It can be biking, it can be walking, it can be gardening. I'm a huge gardener. It can be gardening. I know you like to garden too. So exercise can be a lot of different things. You need to consider journaling, if that's a way to help you get your emotions out. Think about journaling. Listen to music. Listen to your favorite music. Music brings you peace and it relaxes you. Also, do kind things for others, because that helps you. It actually does help release good endorphins in your body. Do something kind for your neighbor. Now, some people will typically say, oh, my neighbor doesn't need help. They're young. They can take care of themselves. You only think, do something for an elderly neighbor. Do something regardless of if your neighbor is young or old. Do something nice for your neighbor, or the neighbor across the street. If you're going out to the store, call them or knock on their door and say, hey, I'm going to the store. Do you need anything? Or if you're outside mowing your lawn, mow their lawn at the same time. Do something nice for others. Another good thing is to laugh. Laughter is so important. It's another thing that releases healthy endorphins. So good for stress hormones. Okay, watch funny movies. Be around funny people. If you have friends that you know make you laugh, if they're fun people to be with, talk to them. If you can't be with them, talk to them. Call them on the phone. Make conversations with funny people. Watch funny movies. And then also, somebody suggested this to me on Instagram the other day, and I did it today. Dance. I put on a playlist and I just danced. I just did some freestyle dance in my kitchen and I felt great. Just do things that make you feel good. It's really so important, because if you are not taking care of yourself, you cannot take care of others. And we all want to take care of others. That's part of being human. You want to take care of your family. You want to take care of your pets. You want to take care of your friends if they need you to. That's part of life and part of living. But if you are not well, spiritually, emotionally, or physically, then you can't do that.
Right. That's so true. And I love all the things that you mentioned. It is definitely, everything is necessary and important to get through everything and be able to get themselves out of that state of overwhelm, stress, depression, even. So with all the riot, with all like everything going on, people protesting, how do they, and everybody just like against each other in terms of like verbally being mean to each other and attacking each other, and it's like it's the social media is going nuts. I mean, people are going out there and they're doing this stuff, and also online. There's so much going on. So what? How do you feel about that? Like,
I'll tell you, I took a break from social media for a few days because I find it disturbing. You know, I truly am a supporter of this whole social and racial injustice philosophy and this whole cause. But when you cannot even have a rational conversation with your friends without hatred and aggression coming into the comment boxes, it's disturbing. It becomes painful. And because it's not just your friend that is chatting, it's their friends. And you don't necessarily even know these people. And I had this is a personal experience. I had a friend who posted something, and this friend and I are, we don't live in the same area, and we are not necessarily in agreement about everything all the time, but we can talk, you know, we can have normal conversation. So he posted something and I made a comment, and, you know, we were going back and forth, and it was a perfectly normal conversation. Excuse me. And then somebody, a person I don't know, chimed in, and it was not, it was a hateful comment. That's all I can say. And then other people started to chime in, and it became really ugly. And at first I tried to explain where I was coming from and my thoughts, and then it became so ugly and nasty that I had to withdraw from the conversation. I basically had to mute that person, my friend. I had to mute my friend for 30 days. I was like, I cannot participate in any of this anymore. And that was very hurtful to me. I actually cried about that because I thought, this is so painful, what has become of normal conversation, the hatred and the anger and the aggression of people. And it made me realize that it is so easy on social media to just lash out and be angry and nasty and ugly to people that you don't even know. That when we are in situations like this, for me, and I would probably say for other people who find this overwhelming and so stressful, and when it creates so much anxiety, the best thing that you can do is stay clear of social media, maybe put yourself on a hiatus, and definitely shut the TV off and stay away from probably all media input for a while. Just put yourself on hiatus. And I'm not saying be ignorant, don't be uninformed, but we all know that the media tends to slant things and make things extremely negative. And that's not what we need right now.
No, right. Yeah, well, you're so right. It's so much going on that I'm actually feeling the tension that people are going through on social media. I'm getting those notifications, and they're like going back and forth, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually feeling my chest hurting from all of this tension. It's a lot going on, and so more than ever, we need the yoga, we need the meditation, we need the prayers if you pray, and or journal, like all the things that you said. Get more sleep. Just try to stay away from social media as much as possible, and sometimes you can't avoid it, like if your business is evolving.
Sure, of course.
It's kind of hard, but just try your best to do a lot of self-care, and because you have to take care of yourself, and then like you said, in order to take care of others and spread the love, and nobody needs to, like, you're trying to protect people, so you protect everybody, and so I think it's really important, just the yoga, and like the yoga nidra. So people pronounce it differently. Some say yoga nidra, some say yoga nidra.
Yeah. I certainly am not going to correct anybody, but the way I was trained, it's pronounced nidra. So
nidra. Okay. Yeah. I've recently heard of that. I was certified as in yoga. Well, we were calling it yoga nidra at that time, but I'm hearing more yoga nidra these days.
Yeah. Oh, you were certified in nidra, yoga nidra?
Yeah.
Oh,
like just in general, 100-hour meditation certification, and that included a big chunk of yoga nidra.
Oh, wonderful! Wonderful. That's great.
Thanks. So with the health coach, you mentioned gardening, and prior to the recording, we were talking about our gardening as well. Like, I personally don't like to be touching the soil, the dirt, and even with my avocado, I have been taking pictures and showing my progress of my avocado plant, but I didn't even put it in the dirt to begin with. My father-in-law did. Like, I just, I'm not really like a dirt type of person. That's why I'm doing the aeroponic gardening. But you specifically mentioned that you like to basically get your hands in the dirt, and you even have a butterfly garden.
I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm a big believer in getting grounded in the dirt. Okay, so I live in Florida, and so I have my feet in the dirt, in the ground all the time. I believe in the process of being grounded, and so I have my hands in the dirt, my feet in the dirt, and yes, I do have a butterfly garden. I specifically grow a garden that attracts butterflies, and mostly monarch butterflies. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you will plant to attract those butterflies?
Well, I have, for monarch butterflies, I have a lot of milkweed plants in my garden, because that's what they lay their eggs on.
Oh.
And so when they lay their eggs, I look for the tiny caterpillars, and then I take the leaves with those caterpillars and I bring them onto my lanai. I have 3 enclosures on my lanai, and then I raise them from the tiny little caterpillars all the way to the big caterpillar where they form a chrysalis. And then after about 10 to 12 days, they come out of the chrysalis as a beautiful butterfly, and then I release them out into the wild.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. If you have pictures, I can share them on my blog with the podcast so you can see the pictures.
Okay, yeah, I'll send you some pictures. I do. It's awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. That's great. And speaking of the connection with the dirt, why is that important? And what could the connection bring being close?
Well, number one, I posted about this on Instagram, I think maybe last week. There's actually a really good, I know everybody thinks when they hear the word bacteria, they think it's not good, but there's a really good bacteria in the soil for your health. It's very healthy bacteria. And it's just good to have connection with the soil for this particular bacteria as a human. But grounding, of course, you've heard the word grounding before, right? As far as being a yogi, you must. Mm-hmm. So you want to be grounded. Now, especially, we have this moon. I think the moon is coming up in Sagittarius right now, I believe. And everybody's getting all funky and weird. And I think I'm being affected by it myself, I must admit. So you want to stay grounded. You want to stay stable. You want to stay connected to Mother Earth. And one of the ways to do that is to have your bare feet on the earth. You want to feel the energy of Mother Earth. And to do that, you want your feet connected to the earth. You don't want to be on cement. You don't want to be on asphalt. You don't want to have shoes on. You want bare feet connected to the soil or the grass. And that keeps you grounded to the earth and the energy of the earth.
I love that. Since you mentioned that, I don't know if you know about sun gazing. It's a practice where you just like stare at the sun, but of course not during like a noontime where the sun is really bright and that could hurt your eyes, especially if you're going to start practicing to begin with. It's usually done like at sunrise or sunset, and you do barefoot outside on the ground. And I think of the Yoga Says podcast, I interviewed actually my husband. He practices sun gazing, and he shared about the practice of sun gazing where you can even eventually, you don't even need glasses anymore. Your eyesight would improve and your health would improve to get rid of a lot of health issues. I haven't been doing that because it's just like my crazy lifestyle right now. Just, I don't really have the time to just go out early in the morning or at sunset to just go out there and stand, because I live in the city. So it's really hard to just stand out there. People, because I remember my husband used to just sun gaze out there. And people would actually go to him and his brothers and say, "Are you guys vampires?" Who just like look weird standing out in the middle of the road and just like staring at the sun.
Yeah, I have not heard of that. Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Wow, I may try that because first of all, I definitely want my feet in the bare grass and soil. So why not do it when the sun is setting? I love our sunsets here, so I may try that.
So the more you sun gaze, the less you want to eat. And the person that came up with this, I don't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but I think he was able to fast for like 350 some days just without eating, just depending on the sun energy.
Wow.
Yeah, I can send you the link. I think I have to find the link. It's not actually called sungazing.com or something. It's a different site. I have to.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested in that. That sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So tell me more about the virtual retreats and your programs. Like, how long do they run for?
Sure. Okay. So every other Wednesday, in my Facebook group, which is Women Inspired Beyond Asanas, I do a virtual retreat, and it's a little bit of Yin Yoga. We also practice either a Yoga Nidra or some breath work. Sometimes we'll do a sound bath on my bowl. It's a combination of things. And then also I usually start off with talking about sometimes it's, like this week I talked about Durga, the goddess Durga, and how we sure as hell need a kick-ass Durga right now with everything that we're going through. The goddess Durga, she is the mother warrior of the earth. She, she just can take care of anything right now. And so, I'll talk about sometimes the yamas and the niyamas, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. I'll start off with talking about something on that idea and then work our way into either breath work or something on that idea, then do yin or a yoga nidra, or like I said, the Tibetan bowl, and then our shavasana. So, and that's every other week in the Facebook group. Excuse me. And then also I have, this was pre-COVID. I was doing, a women's circle. So everything's kind of changed right now, but, and then of course I have my coaching packages. I have a 90-minute package, and then I have a 12-week package. And I also have done several yoga retreats for women. One was in Cortona, Italy, and then also Tulum, Mexico. So I can't wait to get another one going once we're able to travel again somewhat normally. I'd like to, the next one I'd like to go to Costa Brava, Spain. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how do people find you on social media?
My website is Susan Prober Yoga, and that is also my Facebook page, and that is also my Instagram handle.
Okay, awesome. Easy to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll post those, and then I'll look forward to some of the butterfly garden pictures.
Yes, I'll send those to you.
Yeah. Great. Just the last few advice or tips that you will give to listeners and people that are watching the YouTube video, some advice that you will give them for, like, in terms of routines or improving their lifestyle or getting rid of stress.
Well, I think we kind of talked about that, with sleep and eating right and exercise and all that. I think to kind of keep it concise and short, what I can say is self-care and self-love are the best things that you can be doing for yourself. But don't feel guilty if you can't do everything right. Okay? If you have an off day, if you eat too much one day, or if you just, you can't do it all right, don't beat yourself up over it. Just pick yourself up and try again. There's always another day to try again.
That's so true. Love that. And just one more thing, like some book recommendations. What are some?
I just did my, one second. I just did my, my gift of stillness in my Facebook group on Wednesday. And these two books, and I will send you this information. These two books, one is called Shakti Rising, and the other one is called Awakening Shakti. These two books are great books for women. They're all about women's empowerment and women's feminine energy. And I would really suggest these books. Now, of course, there's always the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali, and there's the yamas and the niyamas. But if you're looking for more of a feminine outlook on how to find your own divine power, I would suggest these two books, and I will send that information to you.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.